pixel mappable, battery powered, built-in wireless DMX, affordable? Hey everybody, how's it going? Daryl here. So over the past year or so, I've been in search of the perfect pixel tube, something that has all of those attributes, pixel mappable, battery powered, and has built-in wireless DMX, but is yet affordable. And this search has been in vain until now. And so today I'll be unboxing, reviewing, demoing, and showing how to program the BO 192 from Both Lighting, otherwise known as the Titan 360 pixel tube. And so there are other manufacturers that sell a similar type of 360 tube, and a lot of the technical details that I'm going to be sharing today are applicable to those as well. But you know, at the end of the day, even if it's the exact same hardware, I like working with Both Lighting. They're quick, they're responsive, and you get your light shipped pretty quickly. I got the Uplighting from them in like under a week, and I got these both pixel tubes in under 2 weeks. So yeah, I like working with Both Lighting. And I shared another experience where I bought another pixel tube from a different company in Alibaba, and it was a nightmare to work with them, and it took about a month to get it. These things are extremely affordable in comparison to some other options, and the prices start at $840 for a 4-pack for a soft shell case, and that is what I opted for because it is a lot more transportable, and I have links in the description below. But there is one issue that may be a deal breaker for some of you, so I will go over that in just a few moments. So without further ado, let's unbox this thing. Alright, so I have my soft shell case wrapped in bubble inside of this cardboard box. Alright, I have my soft shell bag. Has a couple of zippers for accessories. So it has a manual, it has some chargers, 4 since this is a 4-pack. So these are different end caps. And here's some eye-ring mounts. It includes 4 stands that you can just screw in. Some more of the stands. 4 remote controls. These aren't the same remotes as the BO IR4 uplights that we reviewed earlier. That's all that's left are these pixel tubes. They come individually wrapped. They are pretty big, but as you can see, they come individually wrapped in these sleeves. You just pull it out. And here's the 360 pixel tube. So here's the stand, it's pretty cool. So unfortunately, it looks like you can't transport this with the stand attached, but it's not too hard to install. So you can see, you just screw it right in. And here it is. And let me talk about the physical specs of this tube. It's surprisingly lightweight. It's only 3.7 pounds, and it's shockingly tall. It's almost 5 feet at 4.93 feet with the included tripod, and it's 4.7 feet without it. And so compared to like other leading brands of pixel tubes that are about 40 inches long, this thing seems massive in comparison. And you have to remember that a huge portion of the height is attributed to this handle. The actual tube part is only about 48 inches long. And I'll be doing a full comparison compared to the Chauvet Wellsticks 180s in a different video. And the Titan 360 pixel tube only draws about 28 watts of power. It comes loaded with a 9600 mAh battery, and it has different battery modes ranging from 1 hour to 12 hours. So the bigger the number that you want this to last for, the dimmer it is. And the shorter the number, the brighter. And it claims to be IP65 rated. So this comes with red, green, blue, white, and amber to really give it stunning color combinations. It has 192 LED chips in it, and the diameter is 58 millimeters, so a little bit thicker than your standard 2-inch trussing. And it has a 1/4" / 20 threaded slot on the top and bottom. So this is a 360 tube design, so that means when you turn it, light emits in all directions instead of like a 180 tube where it's just pointing one direction with nothing on the backside. So that's kind of cool. And to achieve this design, you need to have a handle such as this. And this is controversial. Some people hate it, some people love it. It definitely makes it feel more like a lightsaber, and it definitely makes it very lopsided. So other pixel tubes are like perfectly balanced in the center, like Thanos' knife, but like the center, like more like right here. So that makes it a little bit harder to mount this at an angle. And I mean, like, you're never going to be able to create something that looks like this with these tubes. And this base actually provides an advantage if you're planning on displaying these vertically, like I do at this gig. So this bottom part, since it's so bottom heavy, actually gives it some stabilization when displaying it vertically, so it's less likely to tip over, even when it's resting on top of a microphone stand. So this is what the controls look like for the Pixel tube. I apologize for my own custom label that I created. So this is where you charge it. It has a cap cover if you want this to be more waterproof. Yeah, it's pretty simple. This is the included charger. You just plug it in. Unfortunately, this does not operate while plugged in, so you'll have to charge this before you get to your gigs. And so it has this button, and when you push it, it depresses and stays depressed like that until you're done, and then you push it and it goes all the way back up. And it has a familiar 4-button LCD panel. I mean, that's what the insides look. That's pretty interesting. There's a row of LEDs on both sides, and it has an extra diffuser in the middle so that by the time it reaches the outer plastic that it's super diffused. As you can see here, here's the controls and the battery. So you have to be careful too with the bottom. It twists off pretty easily. Other brands have some screws that you have to unscrew before you twist it off. So just a note about the construction of this thing. And this is sealed pretty tight. As included is this extra cap cover that you can attach on so that the music can go through these holes and reach the internal microphone better. So included is this tripod, which you just screw right into the bottom. You have to be careful because as you screw this in, it loosens this part, and so they can just come flying off like that. And I found that you have to bring the included hex key pretty much every time you want to attach this. If I'm going to be using these long term, I'm probably going to invest in a different tripod. So also included is this ring, which just screws onto the top, and so you can like hang this from somewhere dangling. So while these are pretty tall, and I think that they are pretty good just with the floor tripod, you may want to mount these on top of like a microphone stand or a speaker stand. So I'll leave some links down below to some of my favorite adapters, and it's just really easy to attach them, especially that the threaded holes are the same as most photography equipment. So if you want to have like a staggered look or have like a little bit of extra height, you can check out these products and make your tubes go to new heights. All right, so that's a little bit about the construction, and I'll give more of my thoughts in the outro. But overall, it seems pretty good and can be used for professional use. So let's talk about the operation a little bit. So this is DMX controllable, and you can like choose the address. So to get to the next menu option, you click menu, and so you can choose 5-channel mode, 6, 7, 12, 40, 80, or 160 channel mode. I'll go over those profiles in a little bit. So DMX sometimes gets disconnected, so you can choose whether you want this to just black out when it becomes disconnected, or just hold the last intensity and color that it had, which I think is better. It's more noticeable if your light just completely cuts off, opposed to just holding its previous value. So by default, it's blackout. So to change the setting, you click up or down, and then you click Edit, which I think is like enter. And so there's 4 different curve modes for like the dimmer. And I found that curve 2 is the best, especially when I'm programming in SoundSwitch. And when I have it in curve 2, the colors matches what's on the screen a little bit better. So, and it's curve 1 by default. So I would definitely change that to 2. So you can choose a custom color right here from this panel, and you can choose like the amount of white, red, green, blue, or amber. And you can have this just go in auto mode or sound active mode, and it has 68 built-in presets. You can choose like which auto mode you want it to be running. You can choose the speed, you can choose the color. Same with the sound active mode. And there is an app for this as well, and it works on iPhone and Android. And in your manual on the last page, there is a QR code, so you just have to scan this, download it, install it, and then you can control your lights with an app, and that's pretty cool. On the unit, you select the Wi-Fi mode, and a network name will be displayed. Then connect to the network on your mobile device. Then when you open the app, you'll be connected. And so this isn't going to be an exhaustive walkthrough of the app, but just know you can control the operating mode, select static colors, and set parameters. And it's also really cool because Wi-Fi mode doesn't require line of sight. And you can set these up as master slave as well. And you can adjust this to have wireless DMX. This supports normal wireless DMX like you would get from a Donner dongle and WDMX. I have a different video where I show how to set that up. I have a link in the description below and probably a title card in the top right corner. And so yeah, right now I have this in WDMX mode just for convenience. And you can choose the runtime like I mentioned. It's anywhere. It's in 1 hour increments and it goes all the way to 12 hours or 1 hour. Many of my gigs are about 8 hours including the setup, so I like that. Tells you which version you are in. You can turn off or on the IR remote. You can lock the menu so that guests can't just touch the buttons willy-nilly, although that's really never happened. But you know, these look like lightsabers, so it may be tempting. You can choose how long you want this backlight to be on. It doesn't take a ton of battery, but it does take battery. You can factory reset it. And also important, when you're on the DMX address mode, you can long press enter and it takes you into an advanced mode. And so there's more instructions like what all of these values mean in the back of the manual. So this setting is really important. It's the delay. So by default, I like to have this feature off because I think it messes with the programming. I think that if you want to have like your lights fade, you should just do it on the programming side. Okay, so I have my pixel tube right here. So before I show the DMX operation, let me just show you some of the built-in. It's an IR sensor. You have to align this just right. You can choose like a color. There we go, I got it. You can do master slave, so you only have to control like one of these. So you could just have like these lights be a static color during cocktail hour, and then you can choose like auto mode during the dancing portion. You can just set it and forget it, have one of these be the master, or you can just have it cycle through all 60 if it's built-in modes. It's not going to do any of like the pixel mappable style effects until later within the cycle. So one thing worth noting is that there's several styles of sound active mode. And I think sound active mode 2 is probably the coolest because it does like that limiter effect. So it can just like pulsate to the music like this. And so the music's kind of quiet, the bar doesn't go all the way up, but then when it's really loud, it goes all the way to the top. So I mean, yeah, the colors are pretty rudimentary, but I still think it's a really nice effect. All right, so I'm going to talk about the DMX operation of these lights, and I'll be using SoundSwitch to help illustrate my point, but you can use any DMX software or hardware. I'm not going to talk about all of the DMX profiles, but I'm going to focus on 12, 40, 80, and 160 channel mode. So 40, 80, and 160 channel mode are unique that you can control the individual pixels through your DMX. And the main difference between these is the granularity of control. So 40 channel mode lets you control 8 different zones, and each zone has 5 different colors. So 5 times 8 equals 40. The next one has 16 individual zones, has 32 individual zones. I feel like 16 individual zones is just perfect for DMX programming. Maybe I'm biased because it's the same with the Chauvet Wellsticks 180s, but I feel like any more granular than the pixel is too small for like 48-inch tube. There are only 32 individual zones within a single bar. So if you want to like push a single pixel down the entire bar one step at a time every 30-second interval, then that will take 4 bars, an entire measure, and that would look really jittery and really slow unless your music is blitzing like at 240 BPM. So I feel like that is too much granularity for my taste. I prefer 16, but that's the fun about DMX is that you can try your own stuff. But you know what? You try it yourself. You tell me in the comments down below which mode, which profile you like better. And so the one unique outlier is 12 channel mode. So 12 channel mode is special because you can control like the color of the entire tube, but not individual sections, but you can leverage the built-in presets with 5 different parameters. And in SoundSwitch, these are called attribute cues. And you can control all of these with DMX values with other software. All right, so let's talk about these parameters. So the first one lets you control what the effect is. Remember, there's 68. And so you just have to advance this by intervals of like 3. And that is like terribly jittery, terribly slow. So let's adjust the effect speed to the max. Yeah, that is really zippy. And by default, it's using like 32 individual addressable zones. And so I feel like these pixels are really small for me, but you might like them. Okay, I do like that one. I feel like that's kind of comically fast. So there we go. I like that a little bit better. So you can just play around with this, look at the different effects. There we go. I like that one. And so you can choose like a color macro. So it lets you choose like a solid color. And yeah, just be looking at the manual for this. So right now the background is black, which is what I like. It makes the effects look more dramatic, but you can have it be a different color. Let's change this color actually to something a little bit different. Yeah, let's have this be blue, and let's have this be like an opposite color, like red. So you have to also have base tint be on. So this lets you control like how much of the base you want. Let's have it at full first. There we go. So as you can see, the blue is on top of red. That red is really bright. It'll be more dramatic if you like dim that a little bit. But yeah, look at that. Like the blue stands out a lot more and the red is quite a bit dimmer. And so yeah, that just creates like a different effect. And I think that's pretty cool. You can choose like a different effect and see how that changes it. And I can change the foreground color with this color macro right here. And I can change the background color and have it be the same brightness right here. So like blue. And also like a special effect for attribute cues is like 215. This just cycles through all of them. And I believe it just uses all the colors as well, unless you specify them up here. So as you can see, a lot of these animations are quite nice. And programming these by hand takes a long time. So attribute cues are one way to get pixel animations. I have another video that explains attribute cues a little bit further. You can also do manual pixel mapping with one of the 40, 80, or 160 channel modes. I have a video on how to do that as well. SoundSwitch has an auto scripting engine that automatically can create pixel animations also. I also have a video for that. All of these links are in the description below. So I went deep into the jungles of YouTube and researched a bunch of different light bar patterns, and I created a SoundSwitch light show with 31 auto loops, which can be used by the Astera AX1, Chauvet Wellsticks 180, and now the both Titan Tube 360. And it took me many hours to create and develop this show, and it even took me several hours just to tediously copy this show line by line. Now I have this show available for you to purchase on my online store. The advantage of manual scripting is that the animations match the music a little bit better, and I offer this to save you the tediousness of doing it manually by hand, and so that you can just go out there and play and have beautiful pixel animations to rock your dance floors. Alright, now it's time to share my thoughts on this pixel tube. So I know a lot of people are worried about the brightness, and to be quite honest, like this is pretty bright, especially for a pixel tube. But this is not going to have the throw of like a par onto your dance floor. This is not going to completely wash out the dance floor like a wash effects. But it will definitely provide nice eye candy. And if you have this around the room, this will provide some nice ambient light that's nice and smooth and not so concentrated like a par. And people will look fantastic with these. Am I going to sell my well sticks and just use these lights? You know, I'm still thinking about it. I've only used these for 1 gig so far. And it was a good experience. The well sticks, I think, have a better build quality. So I think they're a little bit more reliable in that regard. And they're more versatile in the way that you can use them. Like you can connect them together, just display them at an angle a little bit easier. But at the end of the day, like 3 times more expensive than these tubes. And these tubes really are a bargain. And for mobile DJ work, we might not need like the fanciest tube setup, and just 4 of these or 8 of these are sufficient. So I might. But you know what? Yeah, for the price, these are like 3 times less expensive than the well sticks. And right now in my multi-op, I kind of follow like Joe Bunn's model where everyone just kind of uses their own lights, and I'm the only one that uses tube lighting. But yeah, if I were to outfit my entire company with like tube lights, I would definitely choose these because of the price. It's basically providing the same thing, a convenient eye candy effect. And full disclosure, like if I didn't already have my well sticks, I would have just purchased these and been super excited about it. But I already had the well sticks, and I asked both lighting to send these to me to review, and I basically just paid the cost of shipping. But you know, I think these are a fantastic buy, and I would totally buy them again. The price is stupid cheap. I would definitely use them for professional use. I like them. Time will tell if they hold up. And I mean, for me, a pixel tube needs 3 things in functionality. It needs to have wireless DMX, it needs to be battery operated, and it needs to have individual addressable zones. So there are so many pixel tubes out there that have 2 of the 3 options, but not all 3. And so that's why I invested a lot in the well sticks, because they have all 3. And I was hoping for something affordable, and a lot of these pixel tubes aren't affordable. So yeah, I definitely think that these are a game changer in the market because it makes the bar for entry for having pixel tubes that are convenient a lot easier. I know there's other pixel tubes like the Ape Labs tubes are nice because they are wireless DMX. You can control them wireless, they're battery operated, but they don't have individual zones that you can control. The Godox tubes are really nice because they're battery operated. You can have individual zones, but they're not wireless DMX. You have to have wired DMX, which is so inconvenient. So yeah, I think this tube is fantastic. I recommend it. Yeah, I think these tubes are the perfect way to get in on the modern DJ aesthetic without breaking the bank. They are elegant, they are functional, and they just look fantastic. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I try to make these videos to be helpful, informative to you guys. I know the world of lighting and DMX can be complicated, so I try to just give you the facts so you can make informed decisions for your business. And so please smash like and subscribe. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers, and with your help, we can get there. So without further ado, I'll see you in the next video.